The revolution will now be televised.
Sweet, I gotta eat. My hustle tempo never gon' fall. Let it be known. Ain't nothing sweet about the heat. Let it be known when the dough's low, then the guns blow. Ain't nothing sweet, I gotta eat. When my hustle tempo never gon' fall. Let it be known.
I ain't spitting white lies, pumping niggas full of smoke. I'm on that block, I'm getting green, I'm pumping white bars of coke. Making broke niggas rich, teaching novice how to pitch. I made that switch, make yours. Matter of fact, fall back and forth. I grind with a cause, daddy, money's my motivation. I'm a rapper by choice, a hustler by occupation. And my street profession, niggas call me Connect. And hustlers worldwide, show that man respect. Hustlers worldwide, for that reason I collect. See, that feeling's mutual, I never deal with that usual suspect. A snitch nigga's always on deck to put your business on the fence, take cassette. Nevertheless, I put.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Delgados.
Welcome back to the Delgados podcast. As you can see, we are live and direct, back on set. I got my brother Eric Giancarlo with me, and a very, very special guest, a very dear friend of ours, DJ ENUFF.
Yes, brothers.
Yes,
I'm here. I'm here with my day ones.
Amen.
World
Day
famous.
one's in the building.
That's crazy.
Ocean Avenue in the house.
That's
Word
right.
up. Midwood, big Midwood energy.
That's it. M. Flatbush, what up?
Man, listen, man. So listen, first and foremost, man, we want to thank you for coming by, bro. We appreciate you so much.
Come on, you know what it is.
And then on top of that, we about to jump right into this. Eric, take it away.
Yeah, E, thanks for being here, man.
Not a problem. Come
Before
on.
I ask you my first question, please tell the people how you know the Delgado brothers.
You guys were responsible for taking me out the hood. When I mean that, remember the movie Juice?
yeah.
Remember when DJ Q was trying to do that battle?
Yes.
And then he went and he did his audition tape, and
Yes.
Queen Latifah said, "Oh, you're local."
Right.
I was a local disc jockey from around the way.
Right.
I wasn't internationally known. I didn't travel nowhere yet. I was just a guy who had 2 turntables and a mixer, and I was fooling around with the stuff at the crib.
Right.
And you guys found me.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I think it was actually your elder brother Jose, who he had witnessed me do a mix in my house.
Okay.
And he was like, "Yo, can you do that again? And can you put that on tape?" So I didn't know why he wanted the tape, but he said it was almost like an interview, like kind of like I take the tape and then he must have took it back to you, or maybe just held it. I don't know what it was, but I gave him a tape. It was like a mixture of like Sucker MCs and After 7 and a few other blends that I had, and I gave it to your brother. And then after that, it was like, "Yo, come on, I want you to DJ, our party, one of our club nights."
So it's interesting because we had been throwing parties as the Love Brothers. You remember that? And then we were also working with Miguel.
Right.
God bless the dead.
M Series.
So we were doing functions together. We were working with Diddy, doing parties with Diddy. So we were live on the circuit, and a lot of people around the way were talking about you. You were buzzing. Right. So it was like inevitable. Whether we discovered you or not, it was gonna happen for you. You were gonna blow. Dudes in the hood were already like, "Yo, y'all should get DJ ENUFF."
Let me
to
interject.
DJ.
Yes,
Right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you my version of what happened.
Go ahead.
Okay. So our dear friend, your dear friend as well, he was like an older brother to all of us on the block.
Tony T.
And Tony T was a DJ.
Right.
Right. You know, he loved music. He had a mad equipment, right?
Right.
Right. So me and Tony were having conversations about DJs because me and Jose were paying like, Red Alert. We were paying Kid
Capri.
all
I remember
these
this.
guys.
I remember this story.
I told you this.
I remember this
is
story.
why I said, Jose, it was me. Right? So listen, no, it was me.
He straightened this
I
out.
love it.
It was me. So check this out, right?
This is good.
So
this is good.
It was Tony's nod. Say, "Yo, E, give ENUFF a chance. Let him play." I said, "I bet. I'm going to let ENUFF play to open up for Red Alert."
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
At the Octagon.
Yeah.
I said
it was at the Brand Nubians album release party.
Right. So
At
I
the
called.
Octagon.
So I called Red Alert. I said, "Yo, Red, my man on the block is going to open up for you." He said he don't care. That's cool because he didn't like to come to midnight.
Right.
So you had it to midnight and you came at 9.
Right.
And everybody that night was like, yo, this nigga is nice.
Who's this nigga?
Thank you.
Yo, this nigga's better than this nigga's low key doper than Red.
Yo, you ripped it a new one. Even Red said you was nice.
Red alert.
Right,
no
yeah,
disrespect.
yeah.
Red said you was nice.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember.
So we all know Kevin, which is known as Kavar.
Right.
Kavar was the one in my ear championing for you.
Right.
Like, yo, you got to get enough at the parties.
Right.
Trust me. Because I think Kavar went to a basement jam that you did, and he was like, yo, Enough is nice with it. And I was like, I was already open for it. And then when we went to your crib and watched you spin, it was a wrap. I mean, you know, the legendary DJ Enough was born.
Yes, sir.
I mean, to be honest, your climb to the top was quick. It's like, you know, you made a name for yourself fast. You was at all the right parties DJing. And back then, hip-hop was different. Like, you had to be in the field at the clubs
You did.
every night to make a name for yourself.
You did.
Like, you worked and earned your spot. It ain't like these DJs today, you build an Instagram profile and all of a sudden, you that guy. Back then, you had to really
It worked.
show people that you were talented. The competition was stiff back then.
You got to be in the trenches too.
No, you had to be in the trenches. You had to be in the trenches.
I think your big moment, I mean, for the regular people to know who you are, and even like producers and like guys like Diddy and Jessica Rosenblum, when you was doing the candy store the whole summer.
Right.
That was the party.
Yeah.
I think that everybody.
That was a live party.
And you know, that was my baby.
Of course.
I called what's this guy from
Tuffy?
Tuffy.
Tuffy's Candy Store.
Right. So I
Tuffy
called
and
Tuffy.
Cedric.
Right. I called Tuffy and was like, listen,
Big Ced.
we should do something together. And being that you're on TV and you're kind of famous, we're gonna call it Tuffy's Candy Store.
Yep, that I remember.
Right? Because he could promote it himself on the video music box.
Right.
Right?
I remember that.
Boom. So we got together. I said, well, DJ, I said, Enough is gonna be the DJ. How much money we still owe you? We never paid you.
Yo, all right. So this is the marketing part of DJ Enough, right? So
Right.
I would have did this shit for free. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, you know what? You guys offered me like $300. I said, $300? I'll take it. Not a problem.
Because he would have done it for free. That's funny.
I was doing it for free
That's
back
crazy.
then.
So
all I know is the first couple of weeks was a bust.
Oh yeah. First time.
I remember that first 2-3 weeks was a bust. And I remember having a conversation with you and your brother, and you guys were like, we got to figure out something, man. And then God bless the dead, Miguel Navarro was there too. I said, look, guys, I can't guarantee maybe money in your pocket, but why don't we just print out some free comp tickets, go to the hottest party. And I remember we went to a New Jack City party at the Red Zone.
I remember the comp tickets.
All right.
You remember that?
So Miguel, you, whatever, print up some comp tickets. Me, Tuffy, you, all of us, we were all dressed up in our little suits and stuff. Because, back then, you used to sometimes throw on a suit to go to a party.
R&B vibes were big
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah,
Daddies was rocking.
like 5,001 Flavors was moving, M Series was moving. You guys were dressing Heavy D and the boys. You guys were dressing like
We were moving through the culture.
Guy.
EPMD.
yeah, you guys were dressing Teddy Riley and
Heavy
Aaron
D.
Hall.
God
That
bless
was the
dead
look.
Heavy D.
That
That
was
was the
the
look.
look.
I remember like a Charvari tie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was the vibe. Like
That
we
was
had
the vibe.
we had that we were colorful, but we were clean.
100%.
So that following Sunday, after we gave out the tickets, there was a line around the corner, and
Yeah.
I can always get there early. Always get there 9, 10 o'clock.
We used to go together in your
Right.
white
the-
Corolla.
the white
We-
Nissan
oh, the
Sentra.
Nissan Sentra. I thought it was
The
a
white-
Corolla.
it was my mom's car.
bad. And we had we would load up the records.
Yo, it was a 1989 Nissan Sentra
I remember that.
box car, but
White joint.
it fit 5 crates of records in the trunk.
Remember that? We would come heavy with the records.
And the car would go like this, boom, and it would go like this.
That's when people. So this is prior to everybody DJing right now off of computers.
Right.
This is prior to that. This is before you guys had CDJs and you could carry your whole catalog inside of a
Yeah.
laptop.
You had
This
to come with a crew of
This
dudes
is
to
prior
carry the
to that.
records.
You had each DJ had his team that would move his records around. Speaking about that, how long now would you say you've been DJing, E?
My first time touching turntables was at a hooky party when I used to go to Midwood High School. It had to be around 1984.
Wow. You had turntables in 84? You had your own set?
No. Maybe in 85, yes.
85, you had your own set?
Yeah. But I waited my whole summer because I bought one turntable. I bought one Technics 1200, and they were like $500 a pop at the time. So I had to wait like a whole summer to get the other one.
So here's a question, man. Like,
Yeah.
what made you want to buy that first turntable? How did you know, right? Because artists have this way of knowing. When did you realize, you know what, this is for me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this serious.
When I heard this record called Planet Rock by Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, my dad had the record. And my dad wouldn't let me touch the sound system at the house. But every time he left to go to work, I would sneak and I would put the record on. And when I tell you, brothers, I would just stare at the vinyl and the needle going around and the speakers. Wow. And I would just stare at it. I stared at the record and the music like if it was the baddest chick in the world. Like it was everything to me.
Change your life.
That's all it was. And I kept playing it. And then over and over and over and over again. Until like my dad used to be like, this record's starting to get worn out. Like, because I used to play it so much.
It was getting warped.
Yeah, he knew I was playing with it. But it was that record that just made me fall in love with hip hop. And I knew that if I was a DJ, I was able to continue that playing music even just for myself. I didn't understand what playing for people was yet, because I wasn't there. But for myself, I was so entrenched and so in love with the sound of hip hop, and that song just brought it to life for me.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Wow.
That's simple.
Crazy.
That's simple.
Here's a question for you, Eric.
What's up?
And if you can recall and go deep in your Memorex, you tell me, what made you want to promote? How did you and Jose get to the point where you guys were like, we're going to form the Love Brothers, we're going to start promoting parties? And what was your first party that you promoted? Like, how do you remember making that transition into the promotion world?
That's an easy answer. Miguel brought us in that lifestyle.
Okay, tell me about it.
Miguel was just, when we started really hanging out tough, Miguel was always a fashion. He started as a dancer. People don't know that. He used to
remember
fly.
that.
He used to fly to other countries dancing and modeling.
He was nice.
Right? He went to Japan. He went to Africa. He went to a lot of places dancing and modeling clothes. So he brought us into that life promoter style thing because he was throwing parties, right? So when we got with him and he was doing the fashion thing from his mother's house, he hired me and Jose and a bunch of other friends as his models, right? So he would throw his own fashion shows, right, as parties to make money, but also have a modeling show as the party.
Smart.
You get what I'm saying? So that's how me and Jose caught the bug and throwing our own parties. Cause I'm gonna fast forward. So Miguel started getting bigger and bigger. This is when, like you said, he started making clothes for famous people, right? So one time we threw a party, we were throwing a party, and he said, y'all doing this because of me. He said, nobody here for y'all. Like he got the Michael Jackson thing, right?
Yeah.
But it was true. He put us in the game. It wasn't a lie. But me and my brother were proud, so we were like, man, we don't need to mess with you.
You ain't like what he said?
Nah, we were like, all right, well then throw your own parties.
Put the barrier in your back.
So we left because we were on M Series.
Right.
Right? And then that's how we started the Love Brothers. And the Love Brothers, we got that name from when we went to church when we were kids. It was a gang that used to be on the corner. They were called the Love Brothers. That's how we got the name.
That's crazy.
The Love Brothers were the rivals of the Chingalings.
That's crazy.
The Love Brothers and the Chingalings would knock on our uncle's door, who was the pastor, and be like, Uncle, get everybody out the church. We about to rumble. And he would literally have to cut the service in half.
What happened when they shot Chino? What he came in the church and said?
Yeah.
They shot Chino.
It was like a scene from The Warriors.
Yeah, that's so funny.
They bust in the church and then it's like, they shot Chino.
That's crazy.
70s, man. 70s and early 80s. Crazy, bro. But not to deviate too far off like where we were. So your career, man, it's been very illustrious. I mean, besides being, one of New York's most historic club DJs, from being Biggie Smalls' DJ. How did you get the job to be Biggie's DJ? How did that happen?
Well, let's take it back to when I paired up with Red Alert,
Okay.
and I became his apprentice when Flex went to go start Hot 97.
How did that happen? How did you pair up with Red Alert?
I was doing a party at, well, he actually met me for the first time at Tuffy's Candy Store.
Okay.
That I know,
Because
yeah.
because those Sunday nights he was always there.
That I know,
And
yeah.
he was in there watching and looking and that kind of stuff. And then I did a club on 23rd Street. It was called Spodiotes.
I remember Spodiotes.
So I had Spodiotes rocking one time.
Popping.
Like popping. And at the end of the night, Red comes to me and was like, hey, I got an opportunity for you. I want to see if you're interested. And he's got his poo-poo juice in his hand and he's drinking. He goes, I want you to maybe come down to the radio station and open up for me and, you know, take care of some of my weekends when I travel. You in for that?
That's how it started.
Just like that.
Wow.
And then, so I thought he was drunk and he was crazy. I didn't know. I was so in a state of shock
You wouldn't
that
fall.
I wasn't believing what he was telling me.
Crazy.
So to the point where I almost kind of like just egged him off, like, yo, stop playing, get out of here.
A toast to that.
I'm gonna take a toast to that too.
toast
That's
to that.
real talk. That's the truth. I was
toast to
I was
that.
so excited. I
Cheers,
didn't even know how to handle it at E. I was sick.
Wow.
So wow, you probably lost sleep. You probably couldn't sleep after he told you that.
Mm-hmm.
How's your relationship with Red Alert now? You guys still stay in touch?
Yeah, we cool.
Okay.
Yep, that's my guy.
So how'd your parents feel about what your course in life as far as DJing?
Well, initially in the beginning, they were like, "What are you doing?" That kind of stuff.
I know your dad was a fireman, right?
Yeah, he was a fireman. So you gotta remember, my dad's a blue collar worker. He's one of them guys who believes you work hard, you play hard. He's one of those guys. He worked for the city for many years. He was a sanitation worker 1st Then after sanitation, he became a firefighter.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it's like, I guess he wanted me to follow his footsteps. You know, work
for the city.
hard. He worked for the city, whatever. It's good
Pension.
paying job, good benefits, that kind of stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It's too late. you introduced me to Planet Rock.
Yeah.
Remember?
Nah. You was like, no way.
Bing, 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 bing. And then back then, we weren't just DJing, bro. We were breaking. We were trying to, you know,
The culture. You were entrenched in the culture.
We were trying to do that. We were trying to do graffiti.
You were entrenched
So-
in the entire culture.
So he saw all that, and he was like, "What
Wow.
the hell are you doing?" It was
Wow.
it was almost like a disappointment.
Yeah.
And then my grandmother was like, and this is to be honest, y'all. My grandmother was like, "What are you doing playing this music? Why are you not playing salsa?" And I'm like, I love this music. You don't understand. So it broke my heart. But I didn't get the love from my grandmother and my father until years later. Until they saw me on TV. Until they saw me in a movie. Until they heard me on the radio. It was all these accolades.
You made it real.
It was all these accolades like, oh my God, my son's in the movie. Oh my God, my son's on the radio. Oh my God, my son's on the TV every week. So they didn't know how to handle it. They were kind of like, he must be doing something right.
you made it real.
That's crazy.
You made it real.
And you said breakdancing, man. I want to give a special shout out to NWR.
NWR, Nasty
Our
with
boys,
Rock.
man.
Yeah,
Nasty
I
with
used
Rock.
to carry the radio for them.
You know what I mean? We all grew up together, man. Those guys were crazy with it. I used to go with them to the Deuce, and they used to pull out the linoleum, shine it up, and dance.
Yep.
Shout out to
And
Uni.
shout out to Bass.
Uni.
Bass was the pop locker.
Yeah, Uni, Bass, Peter Moore,
Yep.
Bobby.
yeah.
Wow, it's a lot of them, yeah.
There was a dope crew. Shout out to all our people from around the way.
Very dope.
From AvJ. Shout out to all you guys. Love you guys.
So tell me your journey through like the radio station life. Like you
Hold up.
go ahead.
I kind of want to stay on Biggie for a minute because that's
Oh,
like a
Biggie.
big thing. It's like the world's biggest rapper.
Okay.
Like, so let me ask you this, right? Your tenure with Biggie, what was that like? What were those years like before he passed?
It was amazing, bro. Because, all right, so first, I got my introduction to Big because I remember specifically, Big was trying to get into a club.
Okay.
It was what used to be Suede.
Okay.
What used to be the Pink Pussycat
Cat.
Club on 13th Street.
Yes.
Right off 13th and Park or 4th, whatever it was.
Yes.
There was a club there. And in that same club, they used to sometimes hold Soul Kitchen and a few other clubs like that, right? So there were these white parties, predominantly white parties by white people that were playing funk and soul music. And the issue I had was that you can't support and exploit funk and soul music and not let black people in. There's an issue I have with that.
Okay.
Makes no sense. And Biggie just wanted to hear the music because I think he was in his creation. He wasn't Biggie Smalls yet. He might have maybe just had party and bullshit.
That's all he had at the time.
That's it. So I had to go I went to Noel Truesdale and Noel's brother, I think it was Chris Truesdale. They were the bodyguard / bouncers, promo people, whatever. And I said, yo, do me, if they knew who I was, and I already DJ'd a few functions for them. And I had just came off of doing the Uptown single release for Biggie's Party and Bullshit.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Biggie at this time was either just getting kicked out of MCA Uptown for whatever reason, and then Puff was just about to start Bad Boy. So I co-signed Big getting in this club. Big always had a lot of love for me. On the out, going back home, he gives me a cassette of Ready to Die. He knew I was on the radio, and he was like, hey, Pop, you do what you gotta do. Even the co-sign, like, here, take my album. Let's
Do whatever you want with
Right.
it, run. Even before it dropped, you can start running with this.
Right, so I started running with it. I got with my team at the station. I started to clean up the album. We started to play it.
Making clean edits.
Yep.
Right.
And then the phone calls, the hotline. It's Puff. Puff's, yo, it's ENUFF, it's Puff for you. Yo, Puff, what's up? Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Are you fucking crazy? I'll kill you, motherfucker.
You serious?
Yeah.
Tell me.
So I'm like,
Hell no.
I'm over here like, what the
Tell
fuck?
us
I'm like,
this.
what
What's going on?
He's like, I will fucking kill you.
Wow.
And I'm lost because I'm like, wait a minute. My guy from Brooklyn gave me this music. Why are you upset? But I didn't understand the setup for a single, the money it took to set it up, the poster boards, the radio ads, the buys, the whatever video they were
Back
working
then,
on.
labels were big on campaigns.
It was big on campaigns. And you had to
Right.
follow suit, and then things had to, go according to plan.
right.
So even though I thought I was helping him, I was probably hurting him. Now I know that now, but back then I didn't think that. Back then I was like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn. That's my guy.
So you almost caught the wrath of Puff?
Yeah, early.
He almost got Diddy by the diddler before we knew.
Before he knew he was a gangster.
He almost got Diddy by the diddler. Here's the strange thing, and listen, this is like throughout, our journey in the music business, in the entertainment world, I've been around Puff several times, not to deviate before we get back to the story, where he has shown his gangster.
Right.
And a lot of dudes throughout, like, my trip through the music industry would be like, oh, Puff is pussy. It was nothing never pussy about Puff. I seen him fist fight on several different occasions with several different people. I've seen it happen.
So he got dirty.
Plenty of times. I've never known Puff to be a pussy, ever. I don't know about you, Eric.
Nah. I mean, he balked on you once and you balked back and then he apologized.
Yeah, but I just saw it as
Wait, hold up. What he barked about you about?
so. This is a good story. You remember, and you were the DJ for this party. You had DJ'd the after party for the Belle Biv DeVoe concert at the Garden. Remember?
Okay.
Octagon party.
Octagon.
Okay.
So right before the concert was about to end, we were all walking around giving out flyers and stuff, giving out some VIP tickets to, different celebs and shit. And he felt we weren't giving out the flyers rapidly enough. Like, we weren't doing enough to promote the party at the Octagon. So he was like, yo, I don't see you motherfuckers giving out flyers enough and y'all ain't doing nothing. And I was like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, what?
Nah, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you said. I'm gonna tell you exactly what you said. You said, motherfucker, I don't work for you. Who the fuck you think you talking to?
Yeah,
and he said, nah, that's exactly what my brother said. And he was like, oh, nah, I ain't mean it like that. It's just that, I'm trying to get the party crowded.
Nigga, fuck all that. Don't be talking to us crazy. It's our party. We put you down.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what people didn't know about Puff in those days, he would attach himself to movements that were already going.
Of course.
He was a professional at that. Like, yo, y'all throwing a party, let me get down with it. I'm gonna bring Heavy D, I'm gonna bring Teddy Riley, I'm gonna bring these people with me. And you would kind of be like, all right, fuck it, I'll fuck with this nigga. But he always had like that kind of energy that you described. He always had that I could pop off at any minute kind of energy. He was volatile, always.
Right.
Always. Anyway, finish the story about Biggie. So after he called you and was like, what the fuck are you doing playing my record?
Yeah, so
how did you handle that?
So I'm stuck. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to fuck up Big shit. You know, this is Big's guy. This is his boss. This is the label owner. And by that time, you know, I was already starting to intern at like, you know, other labels, so I knew the importance of what Puff was. And then he calmed down for a little bit, and I didn't really hear about him for a little while. That was just it was like a threat on the phone, but I didn't see him.
Okay.
Then I'm in Atlantic City. I'm DJing the Mary J. Blige by Life album release party. And it's during the same time as Hot 97's has this Players Ball event that's hosted by Miss Jones, Ed Lover, and maybe Storm Buck Wild.
Okay.
All right? So I'm in Atlantic City, and then Jessica Rosenblum says, yo, Puff wants to talk to you. So now I'm like, oh, shit. This is the first time I'm seeing Puff since the
little spat.
Since the phone beef.
What the fuck are you doing?
Since the phone beef.
So then he out of nowhere says, hey, man, I know you and Big are tight. What's your thoughts on maybe you go on the road with us?
That's crazy.
So I was like, what?
So after the beef, he forgot about all that.
So he asked me that, and I was stuck now because I didn't know what he meant. I'm like, is this a setup? I ain't stupid.
Right.
It's a setup. Whatever.
Right.
You were cautious.
So I said, I'll think about it. And then he was like, you think about it? Like he was like thrown off. Like I would say, I'll think about it. But you gotta remember too, Biggie had one record out.
At the time.
Right. He wasn't B.I.G. yet. And I felt like I was the big king in New York. I'm on the radio every week.
You're already cracking.
I'm DJing.
You had movement. You had movement.
So I'm like, why am I gonna leave my position?
I'm already moving.
And then go fuck with this rapper that I don't have no idea what's gonna happen with him.
Right.
That's all it was.
So there was some apprehension on your part.
It was.
Okay.
But then I decided to say yes.
You decided. So great. Why did you decide to say yes? What do you think moved you towards that? Was it Big's energy? You saw something special in him? Or was it that you were like, okay, let me try something different from what I've been doing in terms of being on the radio and this and that?
Well, the way my manager pitched it was like, you still could go on the road, you still could come back and do your DJing, and then and do both, because they just work coincide with each other.
Right.
They work hand in hand with each other. So I thought about it, and I said, yes, let's do it. And then my first show was in D.C. with Big. And I remember, like, I had this double vinyl album of Zapp and Roger, right? And I needed it because that's where I would cut up Computer Love, so he could do Me and My Bitch, or one of them songs. Yeah, it was Me and My Bitch. But I left the wrong copies in my hotel room. So I'm literally on the stage getting ready to start the show, and I had to run back to the hotel to get the other two records. So somebody held it down for me. But there was a shootout.
Peace and love, people. Eric Giancarlo here, Delgado. Listen, here with DJ ENUFF. Subscribe and like, YouTube, Apple, all over, you can get it. Thank you.